It's just before 7:30. I can see students doing their club activity is on the grounds, but there's hardly anyone indoors, except. He always blurts out my name like I did something wrong every time he sees me.
あら、生徒会長。こんな朝早くから校舎の見回り？それとも各部室の手入れかしら？どっちでもいいけど相変わらず豆ね、そういうとこ。
そういうお前こそ何を企んでいる？部活動もしていないお前がこんな早くに何の用か？
ただの気まぐれよ。竜斗くんちみたいに早起きじゃないもの、私。
The student council president's handsome face darkens with suspicion. He seems to have it out for me. I really don't know why. Maybe he's saying temples are so dull, pass. Maybe me saying temples are so dull, pass is what started it. Yeah, that would kind of do it, wouldn't it?
一つ聞いておくが、最近夜遅くまで校舎にいたことはあるか、遠坂？
ないわね。私が帰宅部だって知ってるでしょ、竜斗くんは。
Okay, so anyone not familiar with Japanese lingo? The Go Home Club is basically like a term Japanese students use for students who don't belong to a club. Hence, they go home.
当然だ。生徒会長を任された以上、全校生徒の情報は把握している。
そう。なら私に聞くまでもないでしょ。なんだってそんなことを聞くか知らないけど、生徒会の仕事を部外者に押し付けちゃまずいんじゃない？情報収集は一人でやりなさいよ。私みたいな部外者に頼らないで。
たわけ、お前のどこが部外者だ？うちの会計の首根っこ掴んで悪さをしたのを知らぬと思ったが、このめぎつれ。
あら、人聞きが悪いわね。あれは三辻さんに頼まれて部費の割合を明らかにしただけでしょ。みんなの予算がどこに使われているか調べるなんて生徒として当然の行為だと思うけど。
なんと、うちの会計を1週間休ませた精神的ダメージが当然の行為なのか。とんでもない倫理観をお持ちのようだな、相変わらず。
あなたもね、部下の手綱ぐらいちゃんと握ってなさい。文化系ばかりひいきするのはフェアじゃないわ。
分かっている。だからこそ俺の手で不正を正したかったのだが。
It's fixed, Issei. Just then, an unexpected visitor makes his presence known. Funny that wasn't voiced. Yeah, it wasn't voiced.
と、悪い。頼んだのはこっちなのに、エミヤに任せっきりにしてしまった。許せ。
Don't worry about it. Where's the next one? We don't have much time.
ああ、次は視聴覚室だ。前から調子が悪かったそうなんだが、この度ついに天寿を全うされた。
If it's completely broken, I can't fix it. It'd be easier to buy a new one.
そうなんだが、一応見てくれると助かる。俺から見れば臨終だが、お前から見れば仮病かもしれん。
Okay, I'll try. Beckoned by the other student, the president leaves. I'd stopped thinking during the sudden turn of events. The other boy, wrench and screwdriver in hand, turns as if he's remembering something. As if he's remembered something. You're early today, Tosaka. He awkwardly mutters and leaves. What was that supposed to be a greeting? The president and student the president and the student called Mia walk off into the distance. That would be Shiro and Mia from class 2C.
それはいいんだけどさ。
How do I put it? The wrench looked right at him as his hands, in his hands, but I'm not sure if it's because it makes him look tough or handy. At 7:30 a.m., there's nobody else in classroom 2A. I take a seat at my desk and flip through my math workbook. There's still 30 minutes until morning homeroom. I've got time to kill until my classmates start arriving. The classroom is lively as lunch break begins after fourth period. My school has a cafeteria, so only about half of the students stay in the room. It's mostly girls that stay behind. The girls think the cafeteria is a bit too liberal with the seasoning, so.
東坂さん、よかったらお昼ご飯一緒に食べませんか?
We girls tend to enjoy our lunches as a group.
ありがとう、三枝さん。けどごめんなさい。私今日は学食なんです。今朝は寝過ごしてしまってお弁当を作る余裕がなかったものですから。いや、そうなんですか。ごめんなさい。そうとも知らず呼び止めてしまって。
Rin's probably the only person. Rin's probably the only person who can oversleep and be early at the same time. Sagusa looks guiltily at her feet. Among the refined and well-behaved students of Class A, she's the most demure. For some reason, she's really nice to me.
余計なことだなんてそんなことはありません。今日はたまたまだから気にしないで。また明日これに懲りず声をかけてください。
I let her down as gently as I can and offer a genuine smile.
はい。でも東坂さんでも寝過ごすことがあるんですね。
Perhaps my smile made her feel better. Sagusa turns back to her table, looking relieved. She's adorable. Yukiko Sagusa isn't drop-dead gorgeous, but her smile always puts everyone around her at ease.
そうなんです。なんとかごまかしてますけど、本当は寝ぼすけなんですよ、私。部活だって朝起きられないから入ってないんです。
Sagusa somehow maintains an elegant air, even when startled. Watching her reactions is always calming, but that doesn't mean I have time to just stand here and talk. If I keep up a conversation with someone so disarming, the real me is bound to show herself.
それじゃあ食堂に行ってきます。三枝さんもごゆっくり。はい、東坂さんも。
Sagusa and I exchange some graceful greetings, and she returns to her friends. I see that she is eating with Kaede Makidera and Kane Himuro. Oh, right. Wasn't Saigusa the track and field club manager? Makidera and Himuro are track and field clubs are the track and field club's rising stars. Makidera is bad influence with whom I go window. Makidera is a bad influence with whom I go window shopping on days off, but I don't know Himuro too well.
売られたね、ユキッチ。だから言ったでしょ。遠坂は弁当持ってこないって。釣りたかったらあいつの分も飯用意しないとね。
No particular reason.
マキ、それは私たちも食堂に移動すればいいだけの話では。ダメダメ、食堂は狭いんだから。弁当組が座れるスペースなんてねっての。それに遠坂と同席してみなさい。男どもの視線がうざいのなんの。前の休みだってさ、二人で遊びに行ったのにあいつだけ得しちゃってさ。やだよね、美人を鼻にかけた優等生は。
Makidera takes hold of Sagusa's desk and she continues to rant about me. Despite her foul mouth, she actually wears the kimono really well, like a picturesque Japanese beauty.
牧野氏、君の陰口は遠坂城に聞こえているようだが。
Meanwhile, Himuro's cool and solid demeanor are a complete foil to that Makidera.
やべ、遠坂に聞かれた。ゲゲ、めっちゃ睨んでるじゃん、あいつ。別に遠坂さん、マキちゃんを睨んでなんかないと思うけど。睨んでんだよ、あれ。あいつは笑ってる時が一番怖いんだから。なんだよ、いいじゃんか、口ぐらい。多めに見ろよ。私と遠坂の仲だろ。たい焼きおごってやっただろ。
Kaeda Makidera puffs her cheeks out in a pout, waving her disposable chopsticks in the air. Would you believe that her hobby is collecting wind chimes? The world works in strange ways. At any rate, it's rude to Sagusa to stare at the three of them. Caught between me and the foul-mouthed Makidera, Sagusa looks like she doesn't know what to do with herself.
気にしないでいいのよ、三枝さん。それと牧寺さん、おごらされたのは私で、品物はたい焼きではなくクレープでした。無意識に事実を改ざんする悪癖、次あたりに直さないと考えますよ。マジ怖え、あの笑顔。
Makidera holds her lunchbox lid like some kind of shield. Holds up her lunchbox lid like some kind of shield. I bid the odd trio farewell, leave the classroom, and slide the door closed. Oops.
なんだよ、大差ないじゃんか、たい焼きもクレープも。どっちも甘いの、皮で包んでるんだからさ。
Makidera ordered something blasphemous for a girl.
たい焼きとクレープが同じですって？
Is she even human? And are all desserts the same to her? If I'd known that her taste can't distinguish Flora's 500 yen very, very berry and 80 yen taiyaki at Idomea. Damn you, Kaeda Makidera. I could have saved 420 yen.
何本気で悔しがってるんだ、私。
That's hilarious. I must still be tired from last night. The cafeteria sounds like a pain, so I just buy some bread from the counter and eat on the roof. I purchased my lunch and head to the unoccupied roof. Though it's different and in the summertime, during the winter, the roof is a convenient place to eat that other students tend to avoid. It's too cold to hang out there during lunch, but that's a small price to pay for privacy.
さて、とりあえずご飯と。
I indulge in the tomato sandwich and hot lemon drink I bought from the cafeteria. It's a simple lunch made all the more delicious by the fact that I enjoy it up here in peace. I finished the sandwich and sipped this warm lemony drink. I'm a little tired. It's hard to balance being an overachiever with avoiding human contact as much as possible. As the saying goes, one should be accomplished at both the pen and the sword. And it's a point of pride, conviction, that I be the top student in the school. I decided that if I was going to be a student, then I would be the very best. And I don't want people looking down on the Tosaka name. That's how Rin Tosaka came to be a perfect, flawless student. On the other hand, my occupation as a mage is dangerous, so I shouldn't associate too much with normal people. When a mage is discovered by the public, she has no choice but to eliminate witnesses to protect herself. I'd rather not resort to that. That's why I keep my social interactions purely superficial, out of necessity. I only hang out with Makidera on my days off, and I turn down an invitation from more sociable people. And I turn down invitations from more sociable people like Saigusa. It's difficult walking the tightrope but being a number one student at school while making sure I don't become anybody else's number one. And sure, there are times when it tires me out and I feel like life is a real drag.
もう時間か。
I finish the hot lemon drink and stand up. That's enough sentimentality for today. Time to go back downstairs and become Rin Tosaka once again.
では、ホームルームを終了する。日直は日と戸締まりの確認を。部活動のない生徒は速やかに帰宅するように。
Class 2A's teacher gives his usual spiel and leaves the room. As far as I know, he said it exactly the same way all year.
遠坂、今日はもうお帰り？
ええ、朝方麻藤君と一見あったし、面倒になる前に帰るわ。
やっぱりそうか。麻藤のやつ、今朝は特に荒れてたからさ。
そう、迷惑をかけてしまったかしら、三辻さん。
やっぱりそうか。麻藤のやつ、今朝は特に荒れてたからさ。遠坂に手ひどく扱われたんだろうなって思ってた。
Ah, crap. I completely forgot to close. Also, I should check my phone because I'm pretty sure. Yep. My phone has this thing about muting and unmuting itself.
別にマトウが下級生をいびるのはいつものことだし、あれはあれでいい精神鍛錬になるよ。
そう、よかった。じゃあこの埋め合わせはまた今度。
はいはい、これに懲りずまた寄っていってちょうだい。
I make my way home without taking any detours. My time as Rin Tosaka, the honor student, ends once I leave the school. The next half of the day is reserved for the other me. I have to become a mage of the Tosaka. When I arrive back at the house, I'm greeted by the pulsing light of my answering machine.
留守電なんて珍しいな。相手はやっぱりあんたか、キレ。
I have a feeling I know what he is going to say, but I better listen or I won't hear the end of it later. I press the play button and hear a familiar male voice.
分かっていると思うが、期限は明日までだぞ、リン。あまり悠長に構えられては困る。残る席はあと2つだ。早々にマスターを揃えねばならん。
The priest cuts straight to the point.
マスターの権利を放棄するというのなら、今日中に連絡しろ。予備の魔術師を派遣するにも時間がかかる。
Liar. I bet you can find backup right away. Find a backup right
お
away.
前にはすでに0時の兆しが現れているのだ。さっさとサーバントを召喚し、0時を開け。もっとも、聖杯戦争に参加しないというのならば話は別だ。命が惜しいのなら、早々に教会に駆け込むがいい。
It was a clear message in simple language. If you're going to fight, then be ready by today. If you aren't, then retire because you're in the way.
言われなくても分かってるわよ。
It's only to be expected, I guess. Today's the last day I can drag this out. Thankfully, I managed to decipher his father's notes yesterday. My battle preparations are in order. All that's left is to see the right to participate, as he said.
聖杯戦争。たった一つきりの聖杯を奪い合う殺し合い。何百年も前から伝わってきた聖杯の儀式か。
The mages who take part in the Holy Grail War are called masters. It doesn't denote a rank of any kind. It merely describes their role. There's a condition to participate in the Holy Grail War. You must summon a familiar called a servant and form a contract with them. Regardless of your skills as a mage, you're not recognized as a master unless you command a servant. There's a clear difference between servants and normal familiars. The way you summon and use them are different. Mages who plan to fight in the Holy Grail War prepare summoning catalysts, but
ほんと、父さんもセイバーにゆかりのものを残してくれればよかったのに。
I don't own any relics with a connection to a servant. I can summon one, yes. In fact, I could do it right now if I wanted to, as well as form a contract. This town's ley lines are under the jurisdiction of the Tosaka. I'm the heir to a clan that administered the land for generations, so my performance will not take a back seat to some visiting mage. Although, while that is true, it'd be awfully incompetent of me to embark on a figurative voyage without a compass.
サーバントはシンボルによって引き寄せられる。強力なサーバントを呼び出したいのなら、そのサーバントにゆかりのあるものが必要不可欠なのだ。
In other words, I need some outrageously valuable item, like a sword or piece of armor that servant owned, or maybe a bone or hell tree related to them.
父さんの遺言に期待してたんだけどな。これはこれでものすごい切り札なんだけど。
The pendant I discovered in the basement last night is an ancient artifact of the highest quality. It's amazing all on its own. Still, it won't help me summon a servant.
いいわよ。そんなものに頼らなくたってなんとかなるわ。そもそも私以外にセーバーを扱えるマスターなんているはずないし。
All right, I've made up my mind. I'd rather not get another earful and waiting until the last minute doesn't sit right with me. Now the real challenge begins. Tonight, I'm going to summon a servant while I'm in peak condition and acquire Saber by force. Late night. The clock reads almost 2 a.m. This is the period where everything lines up. My condition peaks at 2 a.m. sharp. In terms of limits, this will be my first and last chance, so I can't afford even the slightest mistake.
消去の中に大挙。大挙の陣を4つ刻んで、召喚の陣で囲んだ。
I inscribe magic circles into the floor of the basement. Actually, it doesn't take a major evocation spell to call forth the servant. Servants are invited by the Holy Grail. Masters anchor them to the world and supply the magical energy to materialize them, but the servants are the ones who choose to respond to the summons.
Sonia, 銀と鉄。礎に石と契約の太鼓。ソニは我が大使、シュバイオーグ。降り立つ風には壁を。四方の門は閉じ、王冠より出る。王国に至る三サロは循環せよ。
Still, I need to keep cautious and focus. Magic circles are normally drawn with blood, but tonight I draw mine with melted jewels. I'm using a path for the jewels I accumulated over my lifetime, so I'll never financially recover from this if it fails. I'll never financially recover from this purchase.
満たせ、満たせ、満たせ、満たせ、満たせ。繰り返し都度に5だ。ただ、満たされる時を破却する。
It's almost 2 a.m. I finish drawing the summoning circle passed down through the Tosaka line and face it with all my being.
アンフォン。
I flick a formless switch within myself. Hey Lotus Prince, welcome to the stream. How was your day? Yeah, I'm trying mornings for the next 2 weeks to see how that goes for me in terms of viewership. With a click, I feel my insides turn over to something else. My normal nerves invert and become circuit as for conducting magical energy. This started at around midnight at my time, and which is doable at least. Is not a crazy hour. Not a crazy hour in the morning. Did I get the time wrong then? And I thought 6 for me would be like 9 o'clock for most people in America. Rin Tosaka is no longer human. She's just a component and an execution of in the execution of mystics. I melt from my fingers. No, it's filled up from my fingers. You're in continental Europe. I think that's about 6 hours ahead of the East Coast. I'm actually in South Africa. And yeah, it'll be around 9 for Americans on the West Coast. The mana I'm taking in is so dense, it overrides my bodily sensations. Yeah, similar time zone. That's why I'm being destroyed at the same time I'm being filled. Running through my body is the power, mana, from the atmosphere. I converted it into a different type of energy through my body's circuits. A mage's body is nothing but circuits. Circuits to connect the ethereal to the material. The mystical outcome we produce is what we call magecraft. My body grows hot. It seems like horns are growing from my forehead. It seems like wings are sprouting from my back. It seems like scales are covering my hands. It feels like there's water pooling around my ankles. Sweat drips. Stab, stab. Swords pierce my body. These are the stigmata that reject my body, which becomes a circuit. No matter how gifted the mage, we're only human. In a human body, the pain is something we must live with whenever we use magecraft. The cycle doesn't let up. Beyond the agony, deep within the trance, is the mental state necessary for connection. Pain wriggles in my left arm. To aid with the caster, my magic crest autonomously begins an incantation, invading my nervous system. The mana in the atmosphere I've taken in turns to blood. It's like molten lead. While my activated magic crest resembles thorny nerves. With a crunching sensation, it creeps throughout my body like a thorny centipede. Within the hurt, I forget myself. At the same time, I can feel it taking hold of me, like I've reached where I need to go. My hypersensitive hearing picks up the ticking clock in the parlor. 10 seconds until 2 a.m. The power filling my body is unquestionably complete. Time to begin. I convert the mana I've collected into magical energy for fixation. All that's left is to feed all the energy into the engine, the summoning circle, until my body runs dry. my vision goes dark. What lies before me now is the fifth factor, said to be imperceptible to the naked eye. My vision shuts off on its own, fearing what it might see.
誓いがかかる。我は常世すべての善となるもの。我は常世すべての悪を仕組む。汝三代の言霊をまとい七伝。抑止の世より来たれ。天秤の守り手よ。
That went off without a hitch. It feels so perfect that it's like I'm reeling in a whale with a fishing rod. Flawless. I'm positive I just drew the strongest card. I can't wait for my vision to return. It'll take a few more seconds, but when it does, I'm sure the strongest servant will be nowhere in sight.
はい。
Nothing's there. The room doesn't look different at all. I spent that much around ether into this ritual only for absolutely nothing to materialize. On top of that, I think I just heard something explode in the parlor. I bolt. My head's empty at this point. I just run. I race up the stairs from the basement.
扉壊れてる。
The door to the parlor is askew off its hinges. There isn't any point in turning the doorknob. And it won't open and with either whether or I push or pull.
もう邪魔だから。
I kick it down and burst into the room. And the moment I enter the parlor, everything becomes clear. This is actually one of the most iconic images in the original game. Just this dude casually sitting in this wreck of a room. Everything in tatter. Everything is in tatters. Rubble is strewn across everything, as if something has fallen through the ceiling. On top of it sits a man cocking his head arrogantly. He must be some kind of criminal. But something graver draws my attention. The grandfather clock, having escaped destruction, tells me the time precisely. Now I remember. Right, of course, the clocks were an hour ahead today, weren't they? Which means it's 1 a.m. Still a full hour left till I'm in peak spellcasting form. Oops.
またやっちゃった。
I can complete tasks as well as anybody else, but suffer from the curse of my genetics. When it really counts, I somehow manage to bungle things on an unbelievable level.
やっちゃったことは仕方ない。反省。
I can't believe my own stupidity. So irritated, I direct my glare at the man lounging haughtily on the rubble.
それで、あんた何？
開口一番それか。これはまたとんでもないマスターに引き当てられたものだ。
The man in the red mantle shakes his head in a show of exasperation. To add insult to injury, he mutters something about drawing the short straw. Oh, now I'm dead certain. This guy has a messed up personality. And this is a servant? I thought familiars were shapeless beings, but this is just a man. No, not just a man. Even from here, I can tell it's brimming with a shocking amount of magical energy. Don't be fooled by its appearance. I'm staring at something that's undoubtedly more than human. It's a human-shaped ghost that's on the level of an elemental. This is no time to be dumbstruck. That thing belongs to me. I need to get my head in the game.
確認するけど、あなたは私のサーバントで間違いない？
それはこちらが聞きたいな。君こそ私のマスターなのか？ここまで乱暴な召喚は初めてでね。正直状況がつかめない。
私だって初めてよ。そういう質問は却下するわ。
そうか。だが私が召喚された時に君は目の前にいなかった。これは
本気？ひな鳥じゃあるまいし、目を開けた時にしか主を決められないなんて冗談はやめてよね。
そうか。だが私が召喚された時に君は目の前にいなかった。これはどういうことなのか説明してくれ。
Yeah, so to clue you in and loaded, originally this game didn't have voice acting, but this is a version of the game that it's like PS2 release onward. It's with this one specifically being the Vita release, which includes voice acting. The unidentified servant frowns and a grunt escapes his lips. Maybe he didn't like the way I said it, though he has a mixed reaction, as if still impressed by the logic in my words.
まあいいわ。私が聞いているのはね、あなたが他の誰でもない、この私のサーバントかってことだけよ。
I know this is the source of all the Fate stuff, so it's cool to see it finally localized. Oh yeah, for sure. I was super psyched to hear that this remake was happening.
それをはっきりさせない以上、他の質問に答える義務はないわ。
Remaster, not remake.
召喚に失敗しておいてそれか。この場合、他に色々と言うべきことがあると思うのだな。
そんなのないわよ。主従関係は一番初めにはっきりさせておくべきものだもの。
It's kind of like how we get the entire science adventure series before Chaos Head. Sort of a baffling decision. I know Chaos Head is seriously effed up, but hey, we still got Chaos Child, yeah. He isn't even bothering to hide his dissatisfaction with me. I wonder if it's because of the half-baked summoning.
主従関係ははっきりさせておくか。やることは知ってんだらけだが、口だけは達者らしい。
This guy's such a smart ass.
ああ、確かにその意見には賛成だ。どちらが強者で、どちらが弱者なのか、明確にしておかなければ、お互いやりづらかろう。
The servant eyes me meaningfully. He's still relaxing on the rubble of my living
ど
room.
ちらが弱者かですって？
ああ、私もサーバントだ。呼ばれたからには主従関係を認めるさ。だが、それはあくまで契約上の話だろう。どちらがより優れたものか、共に戦うにふさわしい相手かを測るのは別になる。さて、その件でいくと、君は私のマスターにふさわしい魔術師なのかな、お嬢さん。
The servant smirks. First he destroys my house and acts like he's king of the castle, and now he has the nerve to ask whether I'm worthy?
あなたの意見なんて聞いてないわ。私が聞いているのは、あなたが私のサーバントかどうかってことだけよ。
I repeat myself, stealing my gaze. I'm not going to back down from this condescending jerk.
ほう、なるほどなるほど。そんな当たり前のことは答えるまでもない。 実に勇ましい。いや、気概だけなら立派なマスターだが。
だから順番を間違えるなっていうの。一番初めに確認するのは召喚者の務めよ。さあ答えなさい。あなたは私のサーバントなのね。
I step forward aggressively, ready to pounce depending on his answer.
強情なお嬢さんだ。これでは話が進まんな。仕方あれまい。仮に私が君のサーバントだとしよう。で、その場合、君が私のマスターなのか？いやまあ、あくまで仮の話だが。
当たり前じゃない。あなたが私に呼ばれたサーバントなら、あなたのマスターは私以外に誰がいるっていうのよ。
I glare at this rude man, giving my seething head a moment to cool down.
そうか。まあ仮の話なんだが、とりあえずそうだとしよう。それで、君が私のマスターである証はどこにある？
The servant blithely asks, smirking all the while. That's a word I have never seen before. He's clearly trying to goad me with these questions into losing my temper.
ここよ。あなたのマスターである証ってこれでしょ。
I show him the command seals on my right hand. Don't think I was born yesterday. Father told me enough that I know that command seals are what command seals are, at least.
納得いった？これでもまだ文句を言うの？
I thrust the symbols at him in challenge. But the lounging servant rolls his eyes.
まいったな。本気で言っているのか、お嬢さん。
His face darkens, looking even more disgruntled.
本気かってなんでよ。
その考えがだ。霊樹があればマスターなのか？霊樹などサーバントを利する道具に過ぎないだろう。まったく、そんな形だけのものでマスターブルとはな。私が見たかったのは、君が忠誠を振るうにふさわしい人物かどうかだったのだが。
Yeah, it should be remembered that servants are like famous figures from mythology and history. So, like they can and will kill you if you piss them off. That makes sense, but normally you think of command seals if someone asks for proof if you're a master, right?
何よ。それじゃあ私はマスター失格？
そう願いたいが、そうはいくまい。霊樹がある以上、私の召喚者は君のようだ。信じがたいが、君は本当に私のマスターらしいな。
Reminds me of the genie from the original Aladdin, and he was the slave of the lamp. But if you did something to piss him off, he had no problem killing you. And you, yeah, that would be an apt comparison. He shrugs in mock exhaustion. Uh-oh. I've reached my boiling point, and I'm not going to cool down in time.
全くもって不満だが、認めよう。とりあえず、君は私のマスターだ。だが、私にも条件がある。私は今後、君の言い分には従わない。戦闘方針は私が決めるし、君はそれに従って行動する。これが最大の譲歩だ。 それで構わないな、お嬢さん。
Ah, sorry, father. I'm at my limit.
そう不満だけど認めるくせに私の意見には取り合わないってどういうことかしら。あなたは私のサーバントなんでしょ。
I ask in a trembling voice. After I spat over the command seals, this is my last desperate attempt at dialogue. And yet...
ああ、形の上だけはな。故に形式上は君に従ってやる。だが戦うのは私自身だ。君はこの家の地下にでも隠れて聖杯戦争が終わるまでじっとしていればいい。
Wow, what an asshole!
それなら未熟な君でも命だけは助けるだろう。
He's looking down on me, declaring that he expects nothing from me.
怒ったのか？いや、もちろん君の立場は尊重するよ。私はマスターを勝利させるために呼ばれたものだからな。私の勝利は君のものだし、戦いで得たものは全て君にくれてやる。それなら文句はなかろう。どうせ君に令状は使えまい。まあ、後のことは私に任せて、君は自分の身の安全を。
あ、弾きた。いいわ、そんなに言うなら使ってやろうじゃない。アンファン。
No more mercy. I've got nothing else left for a jackass like this. This is the official translation, by the way.
まさか。
そのまさかよ、この礼儀知らず。フィアトラーク、アイノイエナーゲル、アイノイエスケナツ、アイノイエスフィアブレヒン。
待て、正気かマスター。そんなことで令状を使うやつが。
うるさい。いい？あんたは私のサーバントなら私の言い分には絶対服従ってもんでしょ。
The emblem on my right hand aches. 3 command spells. They allow a master to issue 3 unbreakable commands to their servants.
考えなすか君は。こんな大雑把なことに令状を使うなど。
Ah, it's too late to whine now. I didn't expect this to happen either. I want to die of self-loathing. I can't believe I just burned one of my precious command spells on a petty squabble.